Good afternoon, viewers. Archana from Betikram. Today we have a very special guest, Mrs. Reshma Shah. I welcome you, ma'am, to our studio. And first of all, there is a token of love from Betikram and India Tourism.
Thank you so much.
I welcome you again. Ma'am, some words from you first.
Yes, thank you so much, Archana, for having me here from the Betikram group. And it's an honor and a pleasure to be here today. To tell you a little bit about myself, I call myself an educationist and a lifelong learner. I belong to the field of education, but through education, I try and connect with people. And I do that by helping them become a better version of themselves. I have been training children, teachers, and also doing parenting workshops along with communication and skill development workshops. And I have been doing this for the last 20 years. I was born and brought up in Guwahati, but I got my education in Delhi in a university called Jawaharlal Nehru University, better known as JNU, and I started my career in Delhi. But then I moved back to Guwahati because I wanted to start something here. I also run a social educational NGO, and I have a budget preschool where till now we have impacted almost more than 100 families in providing better preschool education. So this is my work for the last 20 years.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, you have been into this profession the last 20 years. Like after a long journey, 20 years is a very long journey. So what is your experience if you share with us?
Yes, see, in 20 years, you also evolve as a professional. When I started out, I was working more as a language specialist, as a linguist. But because of the nature of the responsibilities that I got in my previous jobs, I started interacting more with people. And that is when I realized that I enjoyed my work the most when I was helping someone, mentoring someone, or guiding someone to become better professionals. During this whole process of evolving, I have also learned that it is good if you find your own passion and make that your work. My passion is to make teaching and learning a very enjoyable experience. And I think since I have found my passion, I do not feel I am working. I feel every day I am creating joy and I am learning and sharing my knowledge as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, can I ask you one thing, that how did you come into this profession? Why did you choose this profession?
See, first, let us not call it a profession. It is like a calling, because I started out first when I was doing my PhD in JNU, and I got a call to work as a language specialist. Since my PhD thesis and my MPhil thesis was on the social aspects of language. And Archana, I was working on the Assamese language and the social aspects of it. So I got this project that was working on translation of many different languages. During that project, I got an offer for a job from a software e-learning company, and that's where it all started. From there, I moved on to content development and design, and then mentoring. And when I moved back to Guwahati, that's when I started actually delivering education in the classroom, education at people's homes, actually making an impact, not just sitting behind a computer and working out on certain designs, but actually meeting people, meeting small children, and working on making things better for them.
Challenges are there everywhere, ma'am. So in this 20 years, I think you also had lot of challenges. So how come you have overcome those challenges?
See, the first thing about challenges is we must not let the challenges overwhelm us. The minute we find an obstacle in our path, we must realize that that obstacle should be a source of strength for us. There have been many challenges, When I first started out here on my own, first, there was no security of a job. Second, people hardly knew what e-learning was or what a website was. So most of my time during my early years was spent on educating people about what is digital education, what is e-learning. But now when I look back, I realize that during those challenging times, if I had given up, I would not have been here today. When you look at those times, I realize that during those times, I just became very determined to just go about doing what I had to do and without thinking about the results. So that is how I think that I overcame my challenges.
Hope the viewers will take your views and they will use it in their own life also. Okay, ma'am, like nowadays everywhere it is digitalization and we are working from home, it's digital. Children's studying is digital. So, what is your view in this? But how do you think that this is helpful as well as all the pros and cons? I mean,
Okay, about digitization.
yeah.
See, we have to understand digitization as a natural process of evolution. This is something that was going to happen. Just like people started inventing the wheel and then they started inventing the car and then it went on to trains and then it went on to the aeroplanes, digitization is a natural process of how information and services are delivered. Now, if you're asking me about the pros, there are many advantages of it. You can do your work from home, do not have to have face-to-face contact, you can book tickets online, and there are so many other applications. And if you ask me about the minus points of digitization, what I would say is that actually there are none, but because we tend to make it something bigger than what it is, that is when we get overwhelmed. The first is not making digitization the sole purpose. What are we digitizing things for? What are we making it accessible online for? Who is our target audience? Do they have access? Secondly, everything about digitization may not be easy. For example, a senior citizen, somebody who is 60 years above, they may not be comfortable doing their banking transaction on a mobile. So maybe at that time, the persons who can decide should have a support system, a support infrastructure to help those who are not comfortable using the digitization process. So otherwise, if we can have a balanced view about digitization, that would be great.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, in your institutions, everywhere there is a fear of losing their job, during this pandemic, especially this period. So, have you ever came such things in your institutions?
See, we were having a discussion earlier this week and we realized that this fear, this insecurity is in every industry. It is everywhere. But the best thing is, I think as human beings, we are also aware that since this is happening everywhere, there has to be a common solution to it. The insecurity can be taken care of if we know that there is hope. We know that things will get better and we have to believe that things will get better. We must work towards that. Now we are almost at the end of the tunnel. Very soon things will take a positive turn and maybe during that time we will look back on this crisis period and say that this was just a phase. So we should be hopeful and we should give hope and help those who we can.
Ma'am, I know it's a crisis today. Nowadays everywhere there is a crisis. But don't you think this time is also a good time for the family? Everybody is close together now. Parents are at home, those are working parents especially, and children are getting, more involved with their parents. What do you say?
Yes, definitely. I agree with you. This is one of the best times in terms of having family time, in terms of making yourself available for your children, for your parents. The only challenge here is that what kind of time are we spending? Are we creating insecurities in the minds of the children by talking only about the dangers, or are we diverting their mind, channelizing their energies to creating something more productive? Say for example, doing an artwork, maybe asking them to help out in gardening, asking them to help out in housework. So that is the best time for us to bond with our children, and this time we will never get back. So we must, I think, enjoy this time.
Yeah, I'm fully enjoying it at home. Ma'am, you are training to the parents also. Parents, teachers, students. So what type of training means you impart them? What type of training it is?
See, mainly some of the workshops that I deal with during the teacher training workshops are on how to become a better teacher. I do not focus on specific subjects like physics or maths. My job is to create teachers who are going to enjoy teaching. So my job is to encourage creative teaching. How do you teach a concept of a circle or a triangle to a 6-year-old? How do you teach the concept of physics to a class 7 student? These are the challenges that I put forward to my teachers, and I empower them through different techniques to find creative ways of teaching.
Okay, like you are so busy, imparting teachers training, parenting, training to the parents also, students also. So doing all such works, you keep yourself busy the whole day. How come you enjoy your time with your family?
See, again, like I said, this is a big challenge. Finding time for the family and working from home has become a real challenge, and the main reason is because the boundaries of working and home are now getting blurred. We really do not know whether 9 o'clock is the time for family or time for dinner or time for the children. So these are issues that all of us are struggling with. The best way to do is not just find a physical space. See, everybody cannot afford to have a separate room to work, but you must create your own mental space. That is important. Create your own mental space that you will work from 11 to 1 o'clock. And once you have those boundaries, then the challenges do not seem so challenging anymore. And I do follow this principle, and that is how I try and keep myself busy and also take out time for my children.
Yeah, that's an important thing in life. It's the most important thing. Work will come and go, but family is first, comes first. Okay, any messages for our youngsters, young generation?
Yes, the young generation themselves are very aware. They know what is happening. They are digital natives. They belong to a generation. All the young children belong to a generation that know what they want. My only way of guiding you is to tell you, you must find your passion. If you find your passion, you know what you're looking for, then you can always continue to enjoy what you do, and you will be happy. If you're happy, then you'll be productive.
Okay, Reshma ma'am, your journey, we have learned all about your journey as a teacher, as a mentor. Now tell me, you are also an author. So how did you came into it as a journey as an author? Experience apnar, please share with us.
See, I have been writing from a very young age. And that was like all children. I used to write poems, I used to write short stories, and then a couple of my articles and middles got published in the Sentinel and other magazines also when I was in school. Then for a few years, it all stopped because I got into the pressure of my studies and working. But now I think for the last 10 years I have been writing, and I published my book of short stories. There are about 10 stories there. And during this process of writing, I can share with you, it is almost like giving birth to your own child. You have the same level of anxiety, you have the same sense of ownership and love for your own book that you write and you create with such care. And then the last part is that you put it out for the world. And that is the most anxious and the most fulfilling part of all. Because when you write as a writer, you always write to share something. Otherwise, we would never write. We write because we have thoughts that need to be shared. And as a writer, my journey has evolved from writing about very simple things to writing about themes like loyalty, ambition, friendship, which I write about in very different ways. And I've also started writing articles and opinion pieces. So I'm trying my hand in different genres of writing. But I think, yes, as a form of self-expression, it helps us to evolve.
Okay. You do creative writing too. So what is creative writing? Can you explain our viewers?
See, I do a couple of workshops and I also have some courses on creative writing, and I have students who are also doing these courses on creative writing. Now, the most important part about these courses is that they are designed to awaken the sense of passion for writing in you. So my job is to open the eyes and the ears and minds of the students, who will now be able to observe the world around them, who will now be able to communicate their thoughts clearly, and who will now have a passion for writing. And during the course of the modules, we have different activities, and I also give them feedback and assessments. And during this whole process, I help them to create their own pieces of writing which they can own, and they may choose to publish it later or not, or share it, or even put it up as a blog, or submit it to some newspapers or magazines. That is their decision, but my job is to make writers out of them, and I thoroughly enjoy doing that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Reshma ma'am. Your fabulous journey. We learn about your experiences. I hope our viewers have enjoyed a lot. Today's guest was Reshma ma'am. We have heard a lot about her journey as an author and as a teacher. Our viewers, please, you have got any comments you can share with us. Till then, goodbye for today. We'll again meet in our next episode. Thank you. Stay safe and healthy.